That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper. Happy New Year to you. We are super excited you decided to wake up with us. Let's get it started. It's championship week.
It's a beautiful morning.
It's time. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time.
How the fuck you got me up this damn early, Jason?
It's time.
Good morning. Welcome to our wonderful New Year's Day extravaganza. We are happy to have you here. We're excited you decided to wake up with us. Let's get these introductions started. Welcome into the studio all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. 5 a.m., bro. Really appreciate you getting up. Welcome, Justin Jesus Herrera.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to quote our great philosopher at TSS when I say, how the fuck you got me up this early, Jason? But only for the show of the people, only for the fantasy show of the people will I wake me up, my ass up, still half drunk at 5 a.m. to give you fantasy advice. Now, do with it what you will, but if you're really looking for good advice, go on to tssfantasy.com, check out all of our rankings, check out our articles by the great Jordan C. Thomas, and, while you're there, we got you the championship. Why don't you go check out our merch? Go rep us around town. Have people ask them, what's up with this TSS fantasy, guys? What is all that all about?
Indeed. Show some love with some merch. I do agree. Joey Fickle, excuse me. Good morning and Happy New Year to you. Appreciate you waking up with us. And my friend Justin, Happy New Year to you as well. Welcome into the studio. Nick, you got Flandered Macaronis. Happy New Year, sir.
Morning. It is early. It is your Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get you there, and we are going to drive you right into the winner's circle. So let's get it started.
Well, we're going to drive you somewhere, that's for sure. Happy New Year to you and to OJ, the Juice is Loose Mayor. Welcome in. Thanks for waking up with us.
I'm just glad I made it, man. I wasn't sure if it was going to be possible, but I'm happy to be here spending New Year's Day with you guys, and I'll be drinking a lot of water during the show.
Indeed, water is on cue. I do like it. All right, if you're on YouTube watching us, hit that subscribe button. We are going to be introducing some great contests going into next season and a lot of great content coming up. We're not done yet. We got a lot of playoff fun coming up and a great Super Bowl special during the playoffs, so make sure you keep it with us. Hit that subscribe button. As Justin and Nick alluded to, go to tssfantasy.com. Check out all of our great rankings, all of our great merch, all the great stuff as well. And go to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code TSS. We're going to double that deposit up to $100. And in the playoffs, you can still keep making money. So keep with us today. All right, guys. Well, again, we want to win that championship for you. So let's start out with some weather.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
This isn't just snow, this is flurries. It's coming down, and it clearly affected Matthew Stafford.
So, funny enough, Joey said Justin got that gas station coffee. It's actually the hotel coffee, to probably be a little more precise. And then we're going to Colts Martin, winner of our Jester Sack, one of our winners. Good morning to you. Happy New Year to you as well. And thanks for the Jameson Williams jersey. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate you for joining us this season. I'm glad we could show some love for you. So congratulations. All right, let's go on to this weather while I'm all discombobulated this morning. Dome games, guys, you don't need to worry about kickers and your QBs. Arizona at Atlanta. Chicago at Detroit, San Francisco at Las Vegas. That's going to be a great one. We'll hopefully get some remote stuff from Justin there today. The LA Rams visit the Chargers, and Jacksonville is going to Houston. So we talk about weather. Actually, this week, not too shabby, believe it or not. Denver at KC, it's 44 degrees, mostly cloudy. Winds are 3 miles an hour, no big deal there. Miami, America's team, goes up to New England, 51 degrees, clear skies, 12-mile-an-hour winds, though, so might be a little bit tricky with the kickers, perhaps. Not huge deal, though. Indy at the Giants, 51 degrees as well there. It's partly cloudy, 10-mile-an-hour winds there. New Orleans at Philly, it's 50 degrees, clear skies, 8-mile-an-hour winds on that one. Carolina at Tampa Bay, 72 degrees. Nice day today. Overcast, though, but it's 3-mile-an-hour winds there. We're going to go Jets at Seattle, 45 degrees. It's mostly cloudy. Only 1-mile-an-hour wind. I mean, I don't even know it's like nothing. It's like a breath. Minnesota at Green Bay, which I was expecting this to be a condition-filled game. It's actually only it's 36, nothing crazy. Mostly cloudy, 10-mile-an-hour winds. So nothing big deal. We thought maybe Kurt would struggle a little bit in the conditions, but doesn't seem to be that be the case today. But Pittsburgh at Baltimore, 50 degrees, clear skies, 5-mile-an-hour winds there. And then the Monday Nighter, 56 degrees. It's overcast, winds at 6 miles an hour. So there you go. That's your weather. Like I said, no big deal today as far as weather conditions. So I think you can just start your players all with confidence. We see some comments. We're going to get to them in a second. We got our injury expert in. He got up, so we got to get him in and out. Let's get him going. Let's get Brian Scott in with the injury report. Happy New Year to our injury experts on In the Morning. Brock.
Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Oh, boy. That was fitting last night. I don't know about this morning, but Happy New Year, my friend. Welcome into the studio.
Thanks for having me. That was more to wake me up, I think, than anybody else.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got
quiet night. It was anything but.
Indeed. Well, it's championship weekend for our fantasy players. Let's get the injury report from you because I know some of us desperately need it.
Yeah, there was a lot to cover today, actually. A lot of questionables out there, a lot of outs, too. We'll start in Arizona. Colt McCoy actually practiced this week. It looked like he might make it off the concussion protocol, but then had a setback, had some symptoms. He's out today. He will not be playing. So the Arizona's on like their 10th string quarterback, some guy they found off the street, I think. Never heard of the dude, actually. Damian Harris, though, is actually finally returning. He hasn't played since week 12. He was actually removed from the injured report Friday, and he will be suiting up for the Patriots. Chris Olave with a hamstring injury for the Saints, officially listed as questionable. They were saying that he was expected to play earlier in the week, but he was only limited in practice, which worries me a little bit because, as we've spoken about on this show, hamstring injuries are notoriously difficult to deal with and very easily aggravated. So I pay very special attention to what he does in game if you're going to start him. He could have a setback. It would not surprise me. Jalen Hurts is going to miss another week, despite what the head coach Sirianni was saying. I wasn't buying what he was putting down. It didn't make much sense. He's out. Looks like they're shooting for a week 18 return, which should be realistic.
Helps nobody.
That too. Hunter Henry, tight end for the Patriots, is listed as questionable, but the team's saying he's going to be playing. Part of the reason was because their other tight end, Jonnu Smith, is out with a concussion and is not available. So that's probably why they got Hunter Henry in there, even though he is slightly banged up. Ramondre Stevenson is questionable, but he's been playing pretty much through this injury for a few weeks now. Officially listed as questionable, though. He did practice earlier in the week or missed some time earlier in the week, but we should see him playing. We all know the story with Tua. I got to be honest with this dude. I mean, if he has any hopes of having a normal life going forward, he might want to just shut it down this year. It's not been a good season for him. Apparently,
Brian, I'm sorry. There's something wrong with your connection. We can't really hear you. I'm sorry. What? No. Just messing with you. All right, go right ahead.
I know that hurts.
I feel you on too.
I know that hurts to hear. I know it does. But the weird thing was he apparently didn't have any concussion symptoms until the following day. But if you watched some of the replays, there was one hit in particular where he slammed his head again into the turf. Not good stuff. Broncos tight end Greg Dulcich is out. He's actually on IR, so the season's done. Hamstring issue there. Christian Watson, Packers wide receiver, was dealing with some type of hip injury, missed the entire second half of last week's game, but they're saying that he's going to be probably a true game time decision. He missed practice Wednesday and Thursday, but was limited on Friday, but they're expecting him to at least try to play. We all know Lamar Jackson's going to miss at least another week, and originally that's what I was predicting, that it would probably be at least a few weeks. I think we're going to be heading into week 4 now, so that, possibly a next week return, give or take maybe another week or two. Tyler Boyd, wide receiver for the Bengals, he had an open finger fracture dislocation, had it fixed like the next day, and actually played the week later. Had a setback though during the game, had some aggravation to that finger, came out, but he's been practicing and should be playing. It shouldn't affect him too much. He had another week to kind of get it better. Nico Collins, wide receiver for the Texans, is officially on IR. He's been dealing with this foot issue for several weeks, I think since week 13. I thought it was a Liz Frank injury. They haven't said for sure, but it sounds like it probably is. Debo Samuel, I've got a lot of questions about him because apparently he was returning to practice like super early, less than 3 weeks from his ankle/knee injury, and was limited in practice, and there was some speculation that he might play, but it turns out he's going to be out. It looks like they're gearing up for a possible Week 18 return. Tyler Lockett had a hand fracture in his metacarpal bone, had it fixed, and basically came right back to practice like within a week or two, which is pretty crazy. And they're saying he's going to play, which is impressive. He's actually was limited in practice all week and then practiced in full on Friday. But he is technically questionable. They wanted him to get a full practice in before they made a determination. So as long as he made it through practice okay with any setbacks, he should be available today. As is Ken Walker, the third, the running back for the Seahawks. He's been dealing with an ankle issue for a while now. Missed practice on Wednesday, but came back and practiced on Thursday, Friday. So they're expecting him again to play this week. I got a bunch of questions about that because he missed practice one day. So that's pretty much all I got, unless you guys have some other questions.
Guys, anyone else on your end that's on your questionable radar that you got for Brian? All right. Well,
he covered everything.
Yeah, you pretty
this is
much
it, man. This is for the gusto here,
Yeah, that's right. Well, we do appreciate you. Appreciate your contributions all season long. We'll definitely, hopefully, look forward to seeing you next season as well. And we'll probably, if you don't mind waking up with us, we're going to do one more next week, just in case anyone's still doing some DFS or anything like that. So we appreciate you being in, and Happy New Year to you and yours, my friend.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck, and Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Unfortunately, we usually do our Jay's plug of the week from here, but Jay's in the car business, and you know how that is towards the end of the year. Didn't really have time, so our judge stepped up this week to do his plugs of the week. Let's check out Judge Jordan's plugs of the week.
What's up, everybody? Happy New Year's. We're here today to do the plugs of the week. I may not be Jay, but we all need a backup plug every once in a while. So, here I am filling in. We'll start at the quarterback position. Give me Gardner Godmode Minshew. Had a really good game against the Dallas Cowboys last week. Did throw a couple of interceptions, however, has a much easier matchup against the New Orleans Saints this week. Eagles are playing for the division. Eagles are playing for that number 1 seed. And Eagles are trying to drive that draft pick down as low as it can get because the Saints are stupid and gave them a first-round pick while they absolutely suck. Secondly, we're going to go with the running back position. Mandatory McKinnon, baby. Jerick McKinnon, 2 RB1 finishes in the past 3 weeks. One of those was against this same Denver Broncos team that he plays on Sunday. Dial up McKinnon with confidence. At wide receiver, we're going with that big-bodied potential future Rookie of the Year, and that is Christian Watson. So the Minnesota defense has allowed 8 different 300-yard passers this season, including the guys like Teddy Bridgewater. So give me Aaron Rodgers fighting for his playoff life, back against the wall. Give me that big-bodied monster in the end zone. I think Christian Watson's going to have himself a day. And then at the tight end position, we're going to go back to where we started. We got God Mode slinging the rock, and we got Dallas Goedert who's going to deliver this week. Goddard saw a season-high snap percentage. Only saw 3 targets. I expect that to change against a much less tough New Orleans defense. So, with that being said, those are the plugs of the week. Get out there, win your championships, and Happy New Year.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Appreciate Judge Jordan stepping up this week, plugging us in for your championship rosters. All right, well, Happy New Year to you, Jordan. Let's get on to our mailbag because we got some comments and some questions in here, so let's get to it.
You've got mail.
All right, Colts Martin's going to kick us off right away, and again, our big winner, one of our big winners in the I can't even talk this morning of the Jester Sack, Colts Martin. Let's go to Justin first. Who should he roll out today? Isaiah Hodgins, Hunter Renfrow, or Shaheed?
I'm gonna say I roll out Isaiah Hodgins this week. Raheed Shaheed, this is a guy who's just a big play guy. And, at the end of the day, he could give you 3 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown, or he can give you a nothing burger. At least with Hodgins, you're almost guaranteed this guy is going to get 5 to 10 targets. And then, what he does with it is what he does with it. But you get more of an opportunity at that share in the New York Giants system rather than New Orleans Saints. And, by the way, the Eagles have still one of the best secondaries, period, have been shutting people down all year long. I'm going to go with Hodges this week.
All year long.
Justin got that question because I didn't know who the other 2 were.
Oh, boy. That's when you know you're not making it far in your fantasy season, Greg. All right, Zach Kurtz, by the way. Appreciate you. Good morning to you and Happy New Year. Appreciate you coming in. Speaking, Greg, if you want to check on this, I'm going to ask Nick the next question, but Joey Fickle want to know if there's any news on DUI from Vegas player last night. I didn't hear anything about this, so if you can check that, I'm going to pull, if you don't mind, see if you can check that while I go.
I was just checking my phone just a little while ago. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I Googled that. Only thing I saw was about Ruggs. So, yeah, I haven't heard much about that. Hopefully we'll get some breaking news later and not affecting your fantasy lineups. Hopefully, anyway. Not really sure who was involved in that. All right, let's go to Nick for this first one. It's pretty fucking stupid. Justin Fields at Detroit or Kirk Cousins at Green Bay?
Ooh.
I'm going to be conservative, and I'm going to go with Justin Fields because I'll tell you what, Detroit's defense ain't worth a damn, even though Dan Campbell has been a hell of a season this year, hell of a coach. They can just run roughshod. Green Bay could step up against Kirk Cousins. We know how Kirk Cousins does not perform in big games. However, he does do well against Green Bay, but I'm gonna go with Fields for the running threat.
I like that. Joey Fickle, you mean definitely. That's a joke. We're all like looking for it. All right, good job, Joey. You definitely got us on that one. All right, this is from our Twitter. This is from Drake. It's I don't know if it's the Drake, but it's a Drake. It's Daniel Jones versus Indianapolis or Gardner Minshew at New Orleans.
I mean, they're both good matchups. I mean, Indiana's defense, like Nick would say, ain't shit. But New Orleans also ain't too, making any noise. But I'm gonna go with what Jordan said. I'm gonna go with the plug of the week and Gardner Minshew because Philly is actually, they're still fighting for the division. He has the weapons, more weapons than Daniel Jones, and he looked pretty. He looked good last week, so I would roll out with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you got a good call here. Either way, we were talking about it earlier, I think on Friday, that Daniel Jones, I mean, right now is the number 10 QB on the season. How crazy is that? Never would have thought that. So someone brought it to my attention. Oh, my God. All right, let's go to Justin. How I Met Calf Your Mother. It's Tom Brady versus Carolina or Brock Purdy at Las Vegas.
I'm going to go with Tom Brady on this one, and it's solely because Brock Purdy and the 49ers will be done with the Vegas Raiders by halftime, and it'll be Josh Johnson slinging the ball after that. So you want a guy who's going to be in there the entire game. You want Tom Brady this week. He's got a bone to pick with Carolina. They blew him out last time, and he is not very happy about that. He needs to solidify his postseason. Go with the GOAT.
Yeah, hopefully he throws some passes downfield this week because I started him last week because I had Jalen go down, and man, boy, that was the most frustrating game to watch if you were riding Tom Brady, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Nick. Let's go with some Russell Sprouts. It's Russell Wilson at KC or Trevor Lawrence at Houston.
Is this even a question?
This is
really?
This is an alley-oop.
I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence at Houston because if you watched Russell Wilson this season, again, it goes back to my Detroit Lions defense argument. So anyway, we're going to go with Trevor, and we're going to have a good day and sit back and relax.
All righty. Well, I don't think it's that simple. I mean, the KC defense is garbage, and Houston, we keep talking about it. They are actually pretty good against quarterbacks. So I don't know if it's as easy as a start as I might even go Russell Wilson, actually, believe it or not.
I understand your point, but however, Lawrence rather does not have to throw picks as Wilson. As Wilson will be.
And to Nick's point, Russell Wilson makes a bad defense look good.
Yes, he does.
This is also true. I guess you guys are high on the Chiefs D today, I guess is what I'm hearing. All right, let's go to Greg from the Barclays Center. It's Jared Goff versus Chicago or Geno Smith versus New York Jets. The revenge game.
You set me up with this one, man.
I'm just going in order, actually. I was like, damn, I can't believe Greg got this one.
Well,
I'm sure he said that.
Tyler Lockett is dealing with the hand injury. The Jets have a pretty stout secondary. And Jared Goff, man, Detroit flings the ball around. And Chicago's defense is not the monsters of the midway like in the past. So I'm going to go with Jared Goff.
Although it is Geno's revenge game today. Oh, boy. Let's go Hawks. All right, let's go to Justin. Hold the Mostert. It's Mike White at Seattle or Deshaun Watson at Washington.
I'm going to go with Mike White, 100%. Deshaun Watson has proven nothing to me this far. Especially in fantasy, he's proven absolutely nothing to me. I don't think he's had over 15 points in a game. And Mike White, 2 top 10 performances out of his 3 starts this year. I think Seattle has a little bit of a softer defense. Washington's a little bit of a stouter defense against the run. And I think Mike White, he is just so much better than Zach Wilson. He knows how to use his weapons. Go Mike White this week.
All right,
Justin, you're
Nick.
smart.
Great white hope.
Nick, let's go to you. Say hello to my kiddo friend. It's Leonard Fournette versus Carolina or J.K. Dobbins versus the Steelers.
Ooh.
Oh, boy. I'm going to have to go with Dobbins on this one just because that Leonard Fournette this year has been so inconsistent. He may, again, go back to Justin's argument earlier. I forget the player was talking about. Oh, Shaheed. He can give you 2 touchdowns and 80 yards, or he can give you
nothing.
Nothing. We'll go with nothing. We'll go with nothing we're talking about. So I'm going to go with Dobbins because last time Dobbins basically beat Pittsburgh on one leg last time. So we're going to go with Dobbins.
It is playoff Lenny time, though, just to throw that out there. We'll see what Greg thinks. If he's a Romo-phobic, it's David Montgomery at Detroit or Najee Harris at Baltimore.
Wow. You know what? This is a tough one, man. But Najee's been coming on lately the last couple of weeks. I know Baltimore has a stern defense, and Chicago's gonna be running that ball down Detroit. I'm gonna go with Montgomery. I was leaning towards Najee, but I think Chicago's gonna run that ball with Justin Fields and David Montgomery. Montgomery's looking more healthy and running the ball well. I'm gonna go with Montgomery.
All right, I like it. We'll go to high wattage for Justin. Jarrett McKinnon versus Denver, or Raheem Mostert at New England for America's team.
Well, I know this is going to hurt your feelings, Coop, but I am going to ride with the guy who is going through extreme highs right now. That's Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon, if you've had him on your roster the past 3 weeks, you are like, oh my God, how did I make this? How did I do it with the waiver wire? Because he had back-to-back 30-plus point weeks, and then last week he kept his touchdown streak alive. Mostert, like the guy, but, Teddy Bridgewater doesn't offer too much of an upside for that passing offense. And, New England's been pretty stout against the run this year. I'm going to go Jerick McKinnon this week. I think that they keep it rolling with him against this Denver defense.
Justin, if you were going to go with the high guy, you would have went with me and Raheem Mostert. All right, let's go on to our comment section. Joey Fickle let's go to Nick with Joey Fickle. He has, I swapped Tyler Algier for Brian Robinson in DSF after the news of Antonio Gibson being out. Is that a smart
1,000%.
Nick?
1,000%.
I am going to defer to Justin on this one. So, yes. I'd say 1,000% good job. Algier still is splitting time with Cordero Patterson, and Robinson's got a better matchup, so I'm going to go with Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, this is the smartest of smart moves. The Browns are 30th. I mean, we've seen how bad they are against fancy running backs. I think it's a great move for you indeed. All right, let's go to Greg. Colts Martin wants to know pick 2, Pacheco, A.J. Dillon, Algier again, or Cortland Sutton today?
Well, process of elimination, I'm moving Pacheco out because McKinnon has been ruling that backfield right now. Cortland Sutton in that Denver offense, man, and Cortland's coming off of that injury. I'm scared to put him out there. Well, process of elimination, I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon and Tyler Algier. I mean, even with Tyler sharing the backfield, I think he's going to get enough carries to make a difference. But Pacheco, he's playing backseat to McKinnon and Cortland coming off the injury, and Russell's not cooking in Denver. So
I think you guys are discounting Russell. I think he might cook a little today. You guys might be a little surprised. This is going to be his final hoorah before the end of the season.
Jason, we've been waiting all season for Russell.
I know this is the Sunday, and I said it. You heard it here. You heard it here first. All season, you heard it here first.
This is the hill that Jason's dying on.
Taking it on this one for sure.
Steep hill.
All right. Justin, Colt's got another one for us. He wants to know Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins today.
Ooh.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers on this one. And it's just, I always like the meaningful games when it comes down to this. Like, what does it really mean to Aaron Rodgers at this point? It means a playoff spot. It means his legacy continuing. With Kirk Cousins, I don't know if this game means a lot to him. They've already locked up at least the top 3 seed. If it's a close game, then, maybe he stays out on the field. But who knows? If this gets out of control, he might get pulled. I don't think Aaron Rodgers gets pulled in this game.
Yeah, it also means if they lose that he's going to go to the bench.
Yeah, this is, we got asked this on Twitter. I actually went the other way on that one only because I think Kirk Cousins today, what he does want to do is prove that he can win that quote unquote big game, which is still a big game. It's in your division. You're playing Green Bay. In Green Bay, it's Aaron Rodgers. I think he just wants to step up. He has better weapons, quite frankly. And Aaron Rodgers and that offense just poo all season. So that's one of those hills I'm not going to die on is Aaron Rodgers for sure.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins lately, to your point, Jay, he's done the least with the most. I mean, come on. Every time he's got a time to step up, and he's done nothing.
Right, that for sure, no doubt. All right, let's go on to. I forgot what order we're at. Are we on to OJ? I think if I'm saying this right.
I think it's Nick.
All right, Nick, my bad. Kalen Me Smalls. It's AJ Dillon versus Minnesota or Devin Singletary at Cincinnati.
AJ Dillon all day. Minnesota's run defense is not good. I actually have in my notes here because we did it the other day. They are not good. Minnesota is 22nd against the run, averaging 24 points per game. So I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon and then Singletary spotty. We know that the run game truly runs through Josh Allen up in Buffalo. So I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon.
All Nick, right, I miss your top-notch analyst, boy. You nailed it.
OJ, didn't you just think like what he said? I have it in my notes here. I just imagined Nick looked over at his notes and said, "They are not good."
hey, I said I'll do the show if I can do the same games as Friday.
He's got the thumbs down on that side for sure. All right, let's go, Greg, for this one. It's the Welker, Texas Ranger. He wants to know Zonovan Knight at Seattle or Cordell Patterson versus Arizona.
You just have to get me with the Jets questions.
It's just going in order, man.
See, I'm gonna take the emotion out of it and the fandom out of it. I'm gonna go Cordell Patterson. He gives you more chances to get in the end zone, right? He catches out the backfield. He's gonna run it. He gets some of the goal line carries. In Arizona, let's be honest, the defense is not up to par. As Nick would say, they're not good. So I'm gonna go Cordell Patterson.
Right, I believe I said they were worth a damn, as I believe I said, but that's fine.
Let's go to Justin. Go Mahomes already. Is Deonta Foreman at Tampa Bay or Zach Moss at the Giants?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. So I'm gonna go Deonta Foreman because he's already had a big game against Tampa. Zach Moss. Well, I like they have a resurgence there of a player that everybody thought was just going to fall into a hole and die at some point on Buffalo's offense. He still doesn't have a touchdown since being in Indy. So I'm going to go with Deonta Foreman solely on the fact that he gets touchdowns, he gets red zone carries. Zach Moss is not that guy. So if you're looking for a guy who's going to get you points this week, it's going to be Deonta Foreman, not Zach Moss.
All right, let's go to Nick, who I think this fits perfectly. He went to Jared. It's Jacoby Myers versus Miami or Brandon Cooks versus Jacksonville.
Well, I'm going to say Brandon Cooks because when he wants to play, he actually does well. When Jacoby Myers wants to play, he's got to rely on Mac Jones and Matt Patricia calling those plays. So I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks on this one. He actually caught a touchdown last week, if I'm not mistaken, and he's playing to get out of Houston. So what not better way than to heat up at the end of the year and do well so he can force his way out.
Indeed. I like that theory. Indeed. Let's go to Greg. Burrow my face and your titties. It's Zay Jones at Houston or
Sunday morning.
Mike Pittman at the Nug at the Giants.
Oh, I was like, who's that?
At the Nug.
Zay Jones, man, he's been such a roller coaster, right? He finished the last 4 weeks top 3 receiver, especially in PPR. And Houston defense is terrible. And Michael Pittman has not shown up all season long. This is like a flipper, man. But I'm going to go with Zay Jones. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence in that Jacksonville offense. And I think this is the roller coaster where he's going up this week. So I'm going to ride with Zay Jones.
All right. Greg doesn't like Pittman's chances at the Nug. All right. Let's go to Let's go to Justin. More the merrier. Jahan Dotson at Cleveland or Hollywood Brown at Atlanta?
So I really liked what I saw from Jahan Dotson last week, even though it was against the 49ers. He showed that he's got some deep playability. He can make that big break off catch, and he's got some wheels. Sounds a lot like Marquise Brown. But here's the difference. Jahan Dotson is actually getting it from a competent quarterback. I know, Nick. I said Carson Wentz is a competent quarterback. What?
He's a competent. He's just not that good.
But guys, just like the doc said, or Brian said, I'm sorry, David Blau. Who? You know how I remember David Blau? Because he was on the Lions for one bit, and he just looked absolutely terrible there. So I'm gonna just.
I thought he was still there.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I thought too. So I'm gonna go with the guy who actually has a competent quarterback throwing in the football. Carson Wentz, we all know, likes to air it out too. So this could mean massive upside for Jahan Dotson this week.
Yeah, I actually flex played in my championship because there was a couple of matchups there. I actually flex played the Falcons D today. Think they got some good chances to make some plays, believe it or not, as bad as they've been all season. I like them today. Let's go to Nick. Show me your TDs. It's Adam Thielen at Green Bay or Isaiah Hodgins versus Indy.
Well, considering that Adam Thielen hasn't been showing anybody his TDs lately, and Isaiah Hodgins has, I'm going to go with Isaiah Hodgins because he always seems to find the end zone, the little streaker across the flats in the end zone. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Hodgins.
Okay, I like you. Let's go to Greg. This is also from Drake. He wants to know from this is from our Twitter feed. Kenneth Walker today versus the Jets, Jalen Waddle versus the New England Patriots, or Juju Smith-Schuster versus Denver.
Whew, these are some good ones. But let's put it like this, right? If Tua's definitely not playing, so that kind of downgrades Waddle a little bit against New England. New England secondary is tough. Juju versus Denver, sorry ass defense. You know what? And Kenneth Walker's coming off an ankle injury, and the Jets got Quentin Williams back in the middle. This is a tough one.
Go with the Penguin.
You know what, Jason? You guys are playing for your playoff lives. Teddy can dink and dunk. I'm going to go with Waddle. This is for Jason. That pick is for Coop.
Happy New Year, Greg. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go to Justin, my little Mitch. Flex one of these guys, Alan Lazard versus Minnesota, Malcolm Brown versus Atlanta, or Dallas Goedert versus New Orleans.
Malcolm Brown?
My bad, Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown. My little Mitch. That's fucking phenomenal.
I love it.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Dallas Goedert. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but he came back, scored a touchdown last week. I think that Philly's trying to get this offense ready to go and going at full gear for the playoffs. So that means getting Dallas Goedert back to where he was before, and that's scoring 15 plus points in fantasy. So I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert this week. Like I said, Marquise Brown does not scare me with David Blau as his quarterback. And Alan Lazard has cooled off since Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson have come back. So I'm going to go with Goddard this week.
All right, I like it. And on a better day, I'd be able to type this question in. This is actually live from Twitter, so I apologize, Nick. I'm just going to have to read it to you. This is from a Jeremy on our Twitter feed from just right now. He said his good floor is more important to him than his ceiling, and he wants to start 3 of these. He's got Godwin, Pittman, Sutton, Gage, Richie James, and Elijah Moore. He wants to start 3 of those. I'll say them again. Godwin, Pittman, Sutton, Gage, Richie James, and Elijah Moore. He wants 3 of those.
Okay, is it I don't know if did he give you a context? Is it standard PPR?
Did not give me either or, so give me PPR and standard. You're just top 3 of those.
All right, so if it's PPR, I would go Pittman, even though he doesn't get in the end zone. He does get receptions, and I would go Sutton. And I'd probably go Elijah Moore because he's got a better chance of getting the ball that Mike White is in.
No Godwin.
And then in standard, not in PPR, because he only gets like 2 or 3 passes a game. So I would go standard. I would go just swap out Moore. No, just swap out Pittman for Godwin in that format.
Okay, that's I'm gonna write that down and tweet it on out. All right, let's go to Greg on this next one. It's Pitts and Giggles. He's flexing one. Tyler Algier versus Arizona. Zay Jones at Houston. Brandon Ayuk at Las Vegas.
It's gonna, to me, it comes down between Zay Jones and Brandon Ayuk, especially if Debo's not playing. And Ayuk's been pretty solid this year when Debo doesn't play. I'm gonna go with Ayuk. I'm gonna give another gift to one of our co-hosts, to Justin. I'm gonna go with Brandon Ayuk against the Raider. I think he'll have a good game today.
Okay,
I appreciate that, Greg.
I like it. Let's go to Justin for the game of Jones. Darren Waller versus San Francisco, or Taysom Hill at Philly.
Ooh.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh.
I guess I'm gonna go with Taysom Hill because I just don't think anything's gonna happen with this Raider offense. Might be jinxing it too early here, but I'm gonna go with Taysom Hill in this one. You know, Taysom Hill can still be the Swiss Army knife, and whether Derek Carr was back there or not, San Francisco's been very good against tight ends this year. So go with the guy who can run it, pass it, catch it, do everything to fill the stat sheet. Let's go with Taysom Hill.
Let's go to Nick. He is Najee by nature. Noah Fant versus New York Jets, or David Njoku versus at Washington.
I love that name, man. I love it.
How does he feel about going with just leave it blank? Because that's pretty much what he's going to get. Oh, crap.
Come on, Nick. Don't be that.
I'm going to go with Noah Fant on this one just because he's got a better quarterback, a better matchup, and he's actually been getting in the end zone more consistently than Njoku.
Okay. David Njoku's been getting targeted by
Njoku,
Deshaun Watson.
Njoku's been scoring.
But they're both pretty decent today. Colts Martin to Greg. He wants to know Purdy, Russ, or Mac Jones.
Pass.
Ooh.
Pass.
Really? Like, really? To know with Mac Jones, like I said earlier, Russ ain't cooking. Russ ain't doing what he should be doing. I know Jason's high on Russ this week, but I'm not. So I'm gonna go with the more safe pick in Brock Purdy. Purdy's the safe pick.
I'm high on Purdy and Gus. I mean, and Russ. To be honest with you, Colts also, while you're making fun of his lineup, now you're making the guy feel bad.
No. Listen, I'm not in the championship, so you're still playing.
Right, you're right. Exactly.
I'm watching on the sideline.
All right, let's go back to Drake from our Twitter feed. He wants to know for Justin, Cole Kmet at Detroit or Dallas Goedert versus New Orleans.
Oh, I like both these guys. I'm gonna go with Goddard with the slight edge here. I know Cole Kmet had the big game against Detroit, but he's really cooled off since. And I think Goddard might be starting to heat up for that playoff run. So I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert this week.
Nick, he's got another tight end question. Dawson Knox versus Cincinnati or Pat Freiermuth at Baltimore? Maybe he's in 2 championship matchups.
Oh, maybe. I like both tight ends a lot. I'm gonna go with the Muth on this one. It may be a homer pick, but I think Pat Freiermuth's gonna have a better day against Dawson Knox. He's a little more spotty.
All right, let's finish it on up. Greg, hawking some loogies. It's Atlanta versus Arizona or Jacksonville at Houston today.
Oh, this is easy for me. Well, not really, because Arizona's playing like the 5th string quarterback. But Jacksonville's defense has been solid the last couple of games. Houston ain't shit, so I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
Okay, I like that. Let's finish our last one of the day. It's Taylor Park trash for Justin. It's LA Chargers versus the LA Rams or Buffalo at Cincy.
Ooh.
All right, so I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one. Team's been low-key heating up. They've got the Rams. The Rams are not going to pull what they did against the fucking Broncos, against the Chargers. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. Buffalo and Cincy, that is not going to be a game you want any part of the defense. It's just going to be high scoring. They're going to be scoring on each other all day long.
All right. Well, unfortunately, it looks like Mikey Betts might have partied too hard last night. Just didn't show up. I've been calling him, and it's going straight to voicemail. I get it. It's New Year's. Well, no sweat, bro. We'll see you next week, hopefully. But to take some time away from Mikey Betts, we didn't have a Mr. Mallard show up this week, unfortunately, because we didn't do our waiver wire show. So he decided to make an appearance on our Sunday show to give us some flex starts of the week. Let's take a look.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Sophistication Station here on Sunday, where today we're not talking waiver wires, we're actually talking flex starts for TSS Fantasy here. And as always, just before I begin, you can find me, Andrew LeDuc, aka Mr. Mallard, on the Divots and Pivots show every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on YouTube. Follow at Divots and Pivots on Twitter as well. But let's get into this, because this week is championship week. It's week 17. We got some big key matchups. You're going to need some flex starts. So let's take a look at Khalil Herbert coming in a game that I think is going to be surprisingly a back-and-forth high-scoring game, which means Khalil Herbert is going to have a role in this passing game, and they're going to have to use him. So look for Khalil Herbert to really play a decent role in a game that should probably surpass, I'd say, a total of points of 52 points. So look for Khalil Herbert to be a good, solid flex start for you. Now let's go over to Richie James Jr. over on defense as well. His target volume and efficiency has been there. He just needs to find the end zone. But in recent weeks, he's been getting most of the targets. He's been catching the ball. So if he can find the end zone and break that barrier of 8 or 9 points that he's been getting, topping out at, he should be a great, possibly a week-winning for your championship week kind of flex play. So Richie James is also a great option. And then with Mike White coming back, Elijah Moore is back in the fray here as a flex play. With Mike White at quarterback, he can usually round out about a wide receiver 3 or 4. So with Mike White back in there and looking healthy after the Zach Wilson experiment failed again, Elijah Moore is going to jump right back into relevancy and could just win you that championship this week, as his ceiling with Mike White could be the highest out there for the flex position. And then Tyler Boyd could have a monster week this week. In a game against the Bills where this should be back and forth, a very competitive game, Tyler Boyd has a great individual matchup against Teron Johnson in a game, like I said, that will be very competitive. So look for Tyler Boyd to potentially break the wide receiver 2 barrier. So if you can play him in your flex, you'll be in good shape. Once again, I'm Andrew LeDuc, a.k.a. Mr. Mallard, and I'll see you around the Sophistication Station again.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mallard, flexing us into our championship round. All right, guys. Well, we're getting close to the end of the season. It's time to finish up the picks here. Let's go for our picks of the week.
Yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Do you, punk, indeed. All right, let's go. What happened last week? It was pretty much a straight on. We agreed so much on Christmas that we pretty much stayed even, except for our little jester friend lost another game. That's why he's not here this morning. Partying too hard, bro. That's why your picks are showing it. Right now, this year, on the season, we got our king, 155.85. Justin, I'm down 3 to him. Nick's only down 1 to me. Greg is only down 3 to Nick. And poor old Fred, he's 10 away from Justin, all the way in the back. The jester, indeed, sitting in the back. All right, let's go on. I dropped my cue cards. I laughed so hard about Fred not showing up this morning. But Greg, we're going to start with you today with our picks. Miami, America's team, is going to New England. Miami leads this series 60-54. We saw them play way earlier, way back in the season. Miami won 20-7. Obviously, a little different look today with Teddy Bridgewater at the start. The Pats are favored by 2. The over-under is 41. Miami's actually won 4 in a row from New England. Greg, what say you?
It hurt when I was texting this to you, my pick, because I hate both teams. And I need both teams to lose for my team to make a little step into the playoffs. But what swayed my decision is no Tua. And that Patriots defense is so tough. So I picked the Patriots, Jason, and I'm sorry.
Disgusting.
Hold it. Don't throw up.
It's disgusting. Disgusting. All right, let's go, Justin. What say you?
I went with the Patriots too. Tua is definitely a factor in this one. If he was playing, I would have went with the Fins, but no Tua means no W for the Dolphins this week.
Nick, what say you?
I don't really buy that there's no W for the Dolphins because, I mean, Teddy's a pretty good, solid backup, and he's one of the more competent backups out there. However, with that being said, I still went with New England even before I heard that the Tua news was out. But I'm going to go with New England Patriots.
Yeah, you already know what I'm going with. America's team today. They're definitely taking it. Actually, Fred agrees with me. He's going to also go with the Dolphins today.
There's another loss.
Well, he's in last place for a reason.
We've got to make some moves. Teddy Bridgewater is confident. Hopefully, maybe we'll see a little bit of Skylar Thompson, maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. He's got the weapons to make it happen. Lean on the running game a little bit, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's go on to Justin. Indianapolis at the Giants. Colts lead the series 12-7. Last time they played was 2018. The Colts won 28-27 in a close one. Colts have won 4 in a row in this series. The Giants are favored by 5.5. The over-under is 39. What say you?
I'm going to go with the Giants. Giants need it more. This is a playoff game for the Giants. Like, they need to get into the playoffs, and this helps their case. If you're looking at the Colts right now, you're just looking at a hot mess. Like, they're putting together things like here and there. Like, Michael Pittman hasn't been able to get it together, and, they're on their third quarterback this season. So I'm going to go with the Giants on this one, and I just think that the better team's going to win out.
All right, Nick, what say you?
Yeah, Indy's, I don't know, again, the whole Irsay picking up Jeff Saturday as his coach. He's a great analyst, great player, but, man, he's probably the worst coach ever. So I'm going to go with the Giants at home against the Colts.
Greg?
I'm going to round it out. The Giants. Colts are just in disarray, and you don't know what's going on. So Giants all day, and they need it. They really need it.
Clean sweep. You all said it the best. Team in disarray and a team that wants to get in the playoffs. 2 different charts for sure. Let's go to Nick. Arizona at Atlanta. Arizona leads the series 17-15. Last time they played was 2019. Arizona won 34-33 in another close one. Atlanta is favored by 6 in the matchup. The over-under is 41. What say you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Atlanta. Again, they have actually a better competent quarterback, one that's actually been playing lately, and they, quite frankly, have a better coach. Kingsbury's on his way out of the door in Arizona, and they've just been a mess ever since Murray's been out. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Okay, Greg?
Jason, I hate that I got to send my picks in early. I'm going to keep saying this. I sent my picking before Colt McCoy news came out, before the D-Hop news came out, but I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to stick with Arizona because I think they're going to do enough to run the ball with Connor and, get the ball to Marquise Brown's hands. So I'm going to stick with my pick.
I mean, you could have texted, and I might have changed. But unfortunately, if we're going to ride with what you got now, Justin, what say you?
Yeah, I agree with the juice on that one. My travel time got me all fucked up on my news, and I didn't know until late that David Blau would be leading this charge. But anyways, I'll go with the Cardinals, and it's not even that bad of a deal because it's like Desmond Ridder is leading the charge on the other side. I'm sorry, Desmond Ridder, bust written all over him. He just does not fit the system. He looks like he needs more around him than he has, and he has quite a bit. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals this week.
All right, if you send me a text in our official thread before the game time that you want to change your pick, I will allow a pick. But for now, this is what we got right here. And even Fred going with the Cardinals as well. Let's see if Fred wakes up enough time to change his pick. All right, let's go to Greg on the next one.
We're screwed, Justin. We're screwed.
I know.
Let's go New Orleans at Philly. Philly leads the series 19-15. They played last season. Philly won 40-29. They've won 2 in a row in this series. Philly is favored by 5.5, and the over/under is 41.5. Greg, what say you?
Philly, come on. They're playing for their playoff lives. They're playing for the number 1 seed. I like Gardner Minshew. I like the run game. I like that Philly defense. Eagles all day.
All right,
fly,
Nick.
Eagles fly.
Nick, how about you?
I think I just said it.
Okay, pretty much. I like that. We should maybe keep that going each pick. I like that. Justin, how about you, my friend? What do you say?
Something tells me I might be howling at the moon with this pick.
You are.
I'm going to go with the Saints. And this is more of a hopeful pick than anything else because I still want the 49ers to get the number 1 seed. Gardner Minshew showed he's a competent quarterback. He's got weapons, but he's still Gardner Minshew. He's still a guy who lost his job in Jacksonville. And I think the Saints will actually get to him this week. That defense is still pretty strong. They're getting some weapons back. Andy Dalton has proven to be okay this year. I think the Saints get in a tight one. Upset of the week.
Fantasy Jesus opening the window for a comeback here. He's the lone wolf on this matchup. All right, I like it. All right, let's go on to the next one. To where are we at? Justin, Chicago at Detroit. Chicago leads the series 104-76-5. Last time they played was back in November. The Lions won 31-30 in a good matchup. Detroit is favored in this one by 6. The over/under 52.5. What say you?
Yeah, Detroit had a real stinker last week, coming off a lot of momentum. They're going to look to get that back this week. This is still a team that's got that playoff mentality. They really want it. And the Bears, they're trying to play spoiler, but I don't think they have enough weapons to play spoiler this week. I am going to go with the Lions.
OJ, what say you?
I'm going to agree with Justin. I like the Lions. Even though they did put up a stinker last week, they've been playing a lot better. So I like the Lions. I don't think, like Justice, I don't think Chicago has enough. In Detroit, man, if you don't want to play for Dan Campbell as a football player, man, what are you playing the game for? And I think they're going to go off of Dan.
I like it. Nick, what say you?
I said to roll with Justin Fields in fantasy, but as far as my picks go, I'm going to go with Detroit. I hope they actually make the playoffs. It would be nice to see them in the actual playoffs this season.
Good story. Detroit Rock City for TSS this week. We all like the Lions. All right, let's go to Nick. Cleveland at Washington. Cleveland leads the series 34-12-1. Last time they played was in 2020. Cleveland won 34-20. Washington's favored by 2.5, over under 41. What say you?
I say that Cleveland does not rock this week. I'm going to say that Washington ekes out a win at home and sends Green Bay by the wayside.
Justin?
Yeah, I went with the Commanders as well. I think that the Commanders at this point, they're a little bit tougher than Cleveland is. Cleveland's kind of been showing that if they can't establish the run, that they're not going to do that great. And, last week the Commanders did pretty well against the 49ers run, so I can only imagine they'll do well against the Browns run game.
Greg, what say you?
The return of Carson Wentz and the run game with Brian Robinson, going with the Commanders.
All right. I think we all agree it's Washington all day today. Cleveland not really showing much offensively for sure.
I'm scared.
Greg,
Freddie's been picking with everybody this week. I'm super scared this week.
He might be in trouble. Denver at KC, Greg. KC leads the series 70-55. Last time they played was just recently, a couple weeks ago. KC won 34-28. Talked about it then, talk about it now. It's 14 in a row for the Kansas City Chiefs. KC is favored in this one by 12.5. The over-under is 45. What say you?
Make it 15. Denver lost their head coach. They don't know what they're doing on offense. They have a good defense. But who's going to bet against Pat Mahomes, Juju Smith, Kelsey, McKinnon, Pacheco, McCole Hardman may play? Kansas City is just destined to make the playoffs and make a good run. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Hot mess heard. Greg, Nick, what say you?
Yeah, the only one that's going to be cooking in this game is the Chefs. Denver fired 2 of their coaches as soon as their their interim head coach just got hired. They are in complete disarray. I am going to go with the Chiefs.
Justin?
Yeah, I wonder where they're going to find the fingers to point at after this one. We already had Nathaniel Hackett kicked out and offensive coach kicked out. So it's one of those things where, take some accountability, friend. It is your fault. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one.
Casey rolling. I don't think much analysis is needed. This is going to be a whooping for sure. The over-under 45, I'm assuming that's all the Chiefs, what they're going to score. Vegas thinks. Let's go to Nick. Jags at Houston. Houston leads the series. Houston leads the series 28-13. Last time they played was in October. Houston won 13-6. They've won actually 9 in a row for the Jags, and the Jags are favored by 3.5. The over/under is 43. What say you?
Yeah, but lately these are not your grandfather's Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Jags on this one. I believe that they are playing for something. If it's not for playoffs, it is actually for respectability. Trevor Lawrence has turned some heads this season, so I am going to go with the Jags.
Justin?
Yeah, I second that. Just keep it simple. Jags have more weapons.
Jags on fire. I agree. But Greg, what do you think?
It's a divisional game. Texans have some pride. Why not play spoiler? And the last couple of weeks, the Texans have not been pushovers. So I'm going with the Texans. This is my upset pick of the week. And I am the lone wolf.
Howling against the Jaguars this week. All right, Justin, Carolina at the Buccaneers. Carolina leads this series 25-19. Last time these two teams met was in October. It was Carolina up 21-3. Bucks actually have won 4 out of the last 5. Tampa Bay is favored by 3.5. Over under is 40.5. What say you?
So I think this game goes a long way in sealing the deal on the NFC South for the Bucks. And I think Tom Brady wants to get that over with as soon as possible. So I'm going to ride with the Bucks this week. I know that they got pretty much blown to shit the last time they played Carolina's defense, but I'm going to say the Bucks get it together for one game, and Tom Brady has himself a damn good game this week.
All right, Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I just don't see that the Buccaneers are going to, number one, overcome the crappy coaching job that Todd Bowles have taken. I mean, you talk about taking a Porsche turning into a Pinot. It's just ridiculous. I don't see them overcoming the run game. And Tom Brady, I think the offensive line is tuning them out. They get yelled at every damn week. It ain't working. Let's go Panthers.
Greg, how about you?
I don't agree with Nick. I don't think this is Todd Bowles' fault, as more so Brady not doing what he should have been doing in the offseason instead of going making trips and paying, having a divorce and all of that stuff. But despite all of that, the Bucs are going to pull this off. You can't bet against Brady when the game is on the line to go to the playoffs and win your division. To go, no, Brady's going to.
If you've seen him play this season, you can.
When the game is on the line, he pulls it out. I'm just saying.
That's true too. That's also true. It's like that's a big conundrum. Like, you think Brady's just gonna again, like kind of that Russell Wilson. Is he gonna show up this week? Last week didn't look all that well, but again, who knows? He wants to prove something this week. We shall see. Justin, I gotta apologize. I got to apologize on the graphics. I actually had you down for the Panthers. I don't know why. I'll make sure to change that. My apologies. Fred also went with the.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to ride with the Panthers. As I said, I saw Brady struggle a little bit last week. I don't know. I think his Panthers team got a little bit of magic to them. All right, let's go, Greg.
Don't worry, bro. You can keep the Panthers up there if Fred's there.
Mark it down.
I changed mine.
Let's go. Mark it down. The 49ers are at the Las Vegas Raiders. We got our guy on the scene. The series is tied 7-7 in this matchup. Last time they played was 2018. 49ers won 34-3. Might see that again today. 49ers have won 4 of the last 5. They're favored by 9.5. The over-under is 42.5. Greg, what say you?
Listen, the Raiders just benched their starting quarterback. What the hell is Josh McDaniels doing? You got the top-rated Niner defense, and you're benching your starting quarterback? Come on. Justin, this should be an alley-oop for the Niners. I'm going with the Niners. They better win this. Smack the hell out of the Raiders.
That old GIF with Wade tossing it back to LeBron is what I think of for sure. Nick, what say you?
They better be thankful that Devontae Adams is more of a professional than what the coaching regime has been over there. Because I'll tell you what, he gone. So I'm going to go with the Niners all day on this one.
Justin?
Yeah, the Raiders could not have made it any easier for the 49ers. And so for that reason, the series is not going to be tied anymore.
Guys and Justin, I just wanted to make sure you knew you are safe. You are going to come home with a W because Fred is the lone wolf in this matchup.
Wow.
The 49ers. I don't know what he's on that pick, but yes, good job, Fred. And I'm looking at your text right now because I wanted to double check before you come back and say I didn't pick that, because you certainly did. Brad from Unbearable Sports, Happy New Year's and Let's Go Lions, #1 pick. Here we come. We appreciate you and all your contributions this season, Brad. And yes, good luck to your Bears today on their quest for a better draft pick next year. All right, let's go on to, and by the way, Brad, I want to call you out on something because I had your boy Darnell Mooney way low and you were telling me how silly I was. Well, guess who's laughing now? All right, let's go to Justin, the New York Jets at Seattle. Seattle leads the series 12-8. Last time they played was in 2020. Seattle won 40-3, and they've won 4 in a row in this series. The Jets are favored by 2, and the over-under is 42.5. What do you say about this horrible, disgusting Jets team?
What I say about this horrible, disgusting Jets team, even though they wear that ugly-ass gang green, that guess what? They're going to be fucking winning this game. Because Mike White is back and they have a competent quarterback. This team has been very sad to see because it's like they've been fucking keeping themselves in games, and it's just been having that putrid guy, Zach Wilson, at the helm. Mike White comes back. Love it. Doubling down. Jets going to win.
All right. Nick, how about you?
No, I'm going to go with the home birds on this one. I'm going to stick with the Sea Hags. And, hey, it's very difficult to win up in Seattle. Just ask Russell Wilson. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks.
Greg, what do you say?
Mike effing White is back, baby.
He's your franchise?
Listen. I'm not going to say he's the franchise. But when Mike White plays, we do well. So I'm going with my Jets. Gang Green's going to go up into Seattle, stomp a mud hole in Seattle, show Geno Smith he should have never left. Jets all day.
Brad want to chime in and said that I guess that's why you have a fan show. Good call. But listen, bro, I'm told that's just a random guess. So that's why we have our show. We're all just guessing. That was totally I'm not Nostradamus at all. All right, and definitely not an expert. I'll say that. Greg, here's another funny thing. I messed up this graphic too. Now, in all fairness, I drove 9 hours from Tennessee yesterday. I actually have you for the Seahawks and me for this Jets. I did not pick the Jets. Let's switch those. I have Seahawks today. It's Geno Smith's revenge game. He is coming for you today. Let's go, Geno. Let's go, Seahawks today. All right, let's go to the next matchup.
I just want to note this. That's the third time that me, OJ, and fucking Fred have agreed on something. It's going to be a bad week.
I know. Nick, it's our time. We've been waiting. We're going to creep up right at the last minute and take this thing home.
Justin, good thing we drank last night because we're going to need it today, baby.
Let's go with Greg with the next one. It's the Battle of L.A. with the Rams versus the Chargers. The Rams lead the series 7-5. The last time they played was 2018. The Rams won 35-23. The Chargers, are favored by 6.5. The over/under is 41.5. But what say you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you were on. Yeah, I had you for this one.
Bad. I'm so sorry. I was still caught up in the graphics of me putting the Seahawks above my head, Jason. I'm still kind of disarray of that. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. They got Joey Bosa coming back. I know Derwin James is still out, but Herbert looks healthy. He has his weapons, and the Rams have Baker Mayfield. Enough said. Chargers.
Like, yeah, definitely. Nick, what say you?
You know, we've been saying for a while that the Rams are terrible, but Cam Akers has actually found the end zone. Baker Mayfield has actually gotten good, but it's not good enough. I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's going to wake up feeling too dangerous this morning. What do you say,
No.
Justin?
Here's the one caveat to that, Nick. They're not playing the Denver Broncos this week. They won't be getting 3 interceptions from the quarterback. I'm going to go with the Chargers all day long.
Doesn't have the same ring as San Diego, but it's definitely the Los Angeles Superchargers today, all day. We've got to like the Chargers. Let's go to the next one, Nick. Minnesota at Green Bay. Packers lead the series 64-57-3. Last time they played was way back in the summer in September. Vikings won 23-7. Vikings have won 3 of the last 4 in the matchup. They're favored by 3, and the over-under is 47.5. What say you?
Yeah, I think this is where the Green Bay show ends. I think it's going to be done. I don't think it's going to have enough to get Green Bay. Too many things has to happen for Green Bay to get in the playoffs. They have to win. All of the 30 other 2 teams have to lose. Forget it. It's over. Minnesota.
OJ?
Well, what does Minnesota have to play for, right? They're already locked up pretty much the division. They're already locked up their playoff spot. Green Bay has a lot to play for. So Aaron Rodgers is trying to prove that he's the man and he could come back. So I'm riding with Green Bay this week.
Now, what do you say, Justin?
Go, Pack, go.
I like Minnesota in the matchup. Talked about it earlier. Kirk Cousins wanting to prove something.
Yeah, man.
So there's something going on in the water this week. I don't know what it is, but I think I like it.
You should just release Freddie's pick first, and then let's see the reaction.
Yeah, well, wait till we get to this one. Greg, let's go. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Steelers lead the series 32-25. Last time they played was just a little while ago. Baltimore won 16-14. Pittsburgh, though, has won 4 of the last 5. Ravens are favored by 2. The over-under, 35. What say you?
Who did Freddie pick?
Okay, I'm not going to reveal. Won't reveal till later.
I went with Baltimore, man. I'm scared now.
That's what Fred did.
I went with
probably.
Baltimore. I think they want to get on track before they get into the playoffs. And Pittsburgh has not shown up. I don't even know. I don't even care no more, man. I just want to see what Freddie picked.
After all these years, Fred loves the Ravens. Loves the Ravens D. So he did actually go Ravens. Nick, what say you?
You know me. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, I looked in the text, and the funny thing is, you didn't have anything for this game.
I just looked at that. I
put it anyway, and I was going to tell you had the opportunity to change it if you didn't. But anyway, Justin, what do you say?
Oh, man. God damn. Make it 5. I went with Baltimore, too.
I'm done.
Make it 5.
I'm done.
For
I
some
already fucking
reason,
knew it.
there is something in the water this week that, boy, oh boy, might be good and it might be bad. I think OJ knocked his
He said
camera
done.
Wow.
Yeah, trouble. All right, let's go with this last one. Let's see what we go here. Justin, the Bills and the Bengals, the game of the week for sure. Bills lead the series 17-15. Last time they played was 2019. The Bills won 21-17. Bills are favored by 1, and the over-under is 49.5. What do you got on this one?
Oh, man, 2 hot teams, 2 juggernauts. I'm going to go with the Bills on this one. I just think it'll make for a lot I think it's going to make for a matchup that's going to be seen in the AFC playoffs, and I think the Bills will somehow pull it out. It'll be like the college games last night, if you guys saw that, where it's just this back-and-forth affair, comebacks here and there, 14-point stretches. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to go with the Bills edging it out in this one.
I like to describe those as NBA-style football games. It's exactly what those feels like. OJ, what say you?
I picked the Bills. Josh Allen, I like them. They've been moving. Bengals been showing what they've been doing. Jason, I'm sorry, I can't give a good analyst. I can't because I got to see who Freddie picked, bro. I'm scared.
But wait,
straight. Like every pick that me and Justin picked, Freddie's been right there. So I picked the Bills. Justin picked the Bills
5 times.
Bro, I messed up your graphic because I did have you Bengals. I had to look. You did go Bills, so I'm sorry. I'll apologize that in advance. Nick, who do you like?
I'm gonna go with the new king of the North. I'm gonna go with the Bungholes. As Joe Mixon says, we run this, so I'm gonna go with the Bungholes, and I believe in them more than I do the Bills because the Bills always get this close and always screw it up. So I'm gonna go with the Bungholes.
All right. Well, going with the Bungholes puts you in a precarious situation because you, my friend, actually will be agreeing with Fred on that Monday nighter. I'm going with the Bills. Totally agree with Justin. I think this game is going to be one of those back and forth NBA style football games. Just going to be the last team who has the ball last, and hopefully, I guess in this one it'll be Buffalo since I picked them. Yes, Greg.
I picked the Bills, Jason. I picked the Bills.
I know. I got you. I got it written down. I wrote it down as we went. To be fair, like I said, I drove a long way yesterday and had to get a lot done, so that was my bad on that. But I'll definitely make sure we're all straight before it's ended. All right, so guys, it is Week 17. It's championship, but the most important thing, it's New Year's Day and it's Sunday, right? We got to hit the church. Let's put our hands together and pray. It's time for another Sunday Mass for Fantasy Jesus, here to save your fantasy DFS lineups.
I'm here to save your fantasy roster. Good morning, TSS family, and welcome into the DFS Gospel for Championship Week. We are in the city of sinners! Jesus is here to turn you into believers.
Jesus Christ.
So first off, we're going to start with Justin Fields. Justin Fields had 40 points. That's right, 40 points in his first matchup against Detroit in Week 10. And I would plug him in again because I don't see any reason to think that he's not going to want to play spoiler for Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Go ahead and plug Justin Fields in. We're going to go with Brian Robinson at the running back position. Brian Robinson Jr. has been having some slowly breakout games. He still doesn't have the touchdowns we want, but I think this week against a Browns defense that has been averaging 15 points a game to the last 5 running backs, I think Brian Robinson gets it going this week. Then we got Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson has finally gotten rid of Zach Wilson for the 3rd time this year. It feels like, at least. And this time, we're finally going to get the Garrett Wilson we've been wanting. He has 21 points when he's playing with quarterbacks not named Zach Wilson on average. So plug him in this week. He's going to get you some points in a must-win for the New York Jets. Then we got Dallas Goedert coming back last week, looking like a weapon, scoring a touchdown. He had 3 targets, 3 receptions. Guess what? Dallas Goedert is going to need to get going for their playoff run, and I think the Eagles are going to get him going this week against the New Orleans Saints. Finally, we're going to end it with San Francisco 49ers coming to Las Vegas. That's right, and they're coming to Las Vegas, and they're going to be playing a Raiders team that's Derek Carrless and maybe hopeless at this point. So plug them in at 2,900 on DK. It is the steal of the week. Now back to you, Commish.
To a night the 4 of us will never forget.
Let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. It's championship week. Thank you, Fantasy Jesus, for your DFS lineups. Guys, don't forget, next week we're changing things up a little bit. We will have a big Team Wednesday show, and probably we will wake up next week with us as well, but things will change a little bit as we go on. But make sure you hit that subscribe button. Keep with us. We got a lot of playoff stuff coming for you as well, and a lot of good stuff coming up on our show. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all of you. Happy New Year as well, and appreciate you guys waking up with us and starting your new year with us. We appreciate you, and we are out.